Hi guys, this is Eve Bobbins and this is a ROM review on the Advent Vega. This time we're looking at Vegacomb version 1.7. This was recently released over on Table ROMs. Newbie 5's made some quite nice little changes to it, which is good. They've changed the boot animation, which looks quite nice. We'll see that in a second. The system partition has been changed in the background, so that's gone from 125 meg to 155 meg, so it gives the guys a little bit more space to play around with in the guts of the ROM, so you can fit more into it and do more system-wise. And it also means you can't accidentally delete system applications, which is good, because I know a few people have done that by accident and have been having big clear-outs. And a few other little nice tweaks, which we'll just go into. So the default speed of the ROM is 1.2 gigahertz, if I can get my words out right, which is the same as 1.6. Because of the changes to the system partition, Newbie 5's been able to add in a few wallpapers. Now these are from all kinds of different ROMs. They're from the Iconia, they're from the Zoom, they're from the web, they're from all over, but they are really nice and they are formatted perfectly for the Vega screen size. So we'll go on to one of my favourite ones, which is the Apple versus Android lightsaber fight, which is good. I've seen this on the web before, which is why I really like it. I had it on my desktop for months. The other few changes are, if we go into stock browser, you'll see it's changed to Google as the home page, which is good. And if we try and type something in, it pops up with corrections. That's because the Newbie 5's added in a language dictionary. Now to show it, it's not on by default, but if you go into the settings and go to show correction settings and make sure it says always show, they'll pop up on the screen. So it'll save you a little bit of time when you're typing things. One of the features is the YouTube YouTube app has been rehacked to show better quality images. They toned it down a little bit too much in the previous version of it, so things were a bit blocky and a little bit, which is not very nice to watch. So we'll change this to full view and hit play, and it still plays quite nicely. It's not bitty, jumpy or anything like that, which is really good. So you can watch YouTube on the device again, which is great. Now the big thing for this ROM is Flash is back. You can now run the official 10.3 Flash on here, but not in the stock browser. You have to download Opera Mobile. That's got to be mobile, not mini, else it won't work. One thing I do suggest you do when you go into here is, see, I've been playing on Facebook and doing some testing on there, is if you go to Big O and hit settings and go to advanced, not privacy, go to advanced and change the user agent to desktop and Adobe Flash to enabled. That way it will always show Flash and it will show the desktop version of the website rather than the mobile version. So the first site we're going to test is iPlayer, which for those of you outside the UK, it's one of our biggest TV channels over here. They've got lots of channels and they put a lot of their content online. You can watch it sort of as a catch-up TV type thing. So we'll jump into this one and we'll load it up. It'll load in its little window view. I think I looked at this a little bit before, so it might ask us to resume rather than play. So yeah, it's going to ask us to resume, which is a nice feature, which is not really a flash thing, it's just for this website. And I'll hit full screen. And there we go, it's running full screen, running nicely, it's not jumpy, it's not bitty, it's just really nice. You can swap back to window mode, which is really good. Another site we'll test is the web version of YouTube. I've done a little bit of testing on this, and the best video resolution I've found is 480p. Anything above that doesn't play, but anything below it just doesn't look as nice. So 480 is kind of your maximum. So we'll jump into the same video we looked at on the app, which is this one. And we'll knock it to full screen, and we've got it on 480. So that looks fine, it's not jumping at all. I'll show you what I mean by the 720 though. if I hit 720, go back to the start of the video and then full screen it, you'll see here it's a little bit laggy, a little bit jumpy. You can watch it, but it's not very smooth. So I do recommend that you don't go any higher than 480 on there. Now, one of the sites I have tested, as you could see when I first loaded up the page, was Facebook. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll play Facebook games. And one of the ones I play is Bejeweled. And this one has been a little bit hit and miss for me on here. Occasionally it loads perfectly and runs fine. So you get a couple of flash ads. The last time I tried this out, it ran perfectly fine. The times I tried it before that, it jumped like a swine. So it's kind of hit and miss. If it's the first thing you've done on there for the day, it'll probably work fine. If you've done it and your tablet's been on for a while, it might not run as nice. But we'll give it a go anyway and cross our fingers that it's going to work. So fingers crossed, this is going to work perfectly again. Just take a little bit of time to load, but it does on the PC. So we'll hit play now, and hopefully this will play smoothly. So a little bit of jumping there, but that was just a little bit of leftover loading, and that seems to be running fine. So that's a game on Facebook in Flash, and that actually runs quite nicely. So you can actually quite happily sit there and play Bejeweled on Facebook via the app. You can always scroll up and down still and do what you need to do, so that's really good. It's one of the main things people have had gripes about is there's no flash on Vegacomb. There is now, so you've not really got that excuse to not try it anymore. There are a few downsides to the ROM. It's not the most stable version of Vegacomb I've used, I must admit. It works fine from power off boots, so if it's all the way off completely, it'll run fine. If you do a reboot, it tends to be a little bit hit and miss. The Wi-Fi won't always connect and your flash will sometimes crash. But if you run it from a cold boot, just turn it all the way off, it works fine. It is a bit of a swine to flash. I went from 1.6 to 1.7 and it failed miserably a couple of times. It wouldn't flash at all. It's still reporting it was running 1.6 but had some of the features of 1.7. So to get around it, you have to flash a modded firmware, which I'll put a link in the note section below, so you guys can go from the modded stock ROM, which you flash the same as the stock ROM, which there is a video that I'll put a link to somewhere on the screen, so you can click on it and see how to flash a stock ROM. But then if you use the ROM in the link below, it will flash it and change the partition sizes. You can go straight to this and it will work fine. That's the way I had to do it, but it does run quite smoothly. Now don't worry about flashing the modded stock ROM. It won't stop you flashing any other custom ROMs. So you can jump between this, CyanogenMod, Corvus 5, anything like that, you can jump between them. So it's not going to mess that up, but it does help Vegacomb 1.7 run as it should. There are a few other downsides, so the camera still doesn't work. It's no biggie for me, but if you want to use the camera, don't use Vegacomb yet. It is only a little webcam sort of here-ish. Some people use it. I'm not a big fan. Is about it for downsides really. Oh, there is one other downside. Occasionally in full screen flash videos you do get horizontal lines that kind of flash on the screen for a second. I've had it once or twice. I don't always get it, so I don't know if that's a graphical thing or anything like that, sort of an overheat or anything. But that does tend to run fine. It's just the odd time you'll see them flash for a second. And it is quite fast at booting, so if you see at the start of the video it's quite quick to boot. That's good. It's not a downside or anything like that. It's just nice. So you don't have to wait around 5 minutes for it to boot. So that's Vegacomb 1.7. If you guys got any comments, as always, leave me in the boxes below. Hit me with direct messages of anything you want to see on here, any reviews, apps, anything like that, or troubleshooting. Feel free to ask. If you like the video, hit like. As always, if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.